I have this theory, Cyril, that one of the reasons, one of the root causes of black crime, police violence, and all the problems associated with that, if you really want to get down to it, it has to do with the so-called failed war on drugs. In the early 1970s, Richard Nixon, and this is on tape, when he started the war on drugs, said, we're going to do this to target the blacks and the hippies because they vote Democratic. That is on tape. So the original war on drugs was a complete and total political sham. Now, if you're going to have a war like that on a certain group of people, what's going to happen? The stuff we're seeing right now. So, until this stupid, failed war on drugs that we've wasted trillions of dollars on and destroyed the country of Mexico, until we started that, there wasn't this mentality that the cops were at war with the community, right? And so I love your idea, because one thing I think that may be helpful is exactly what you're talking about. We have to stop looking at each other. Police officers have to stop looking at certain communities as the enemy.
Correct.
These are our fellow human beings. So that is a fantastic thing that you guys are doing, Cyril.
I want to add to that a little bit about that, like as far as, to go back to George Floyd. Okay, in 1998, me and George were both finished playing at college. He got a full scholarship, South Florida Community College. He transferred to Lee College. Okay, he was having grade issues, so he didn't play out his eligibility, but he continued to get scholarships. Now I come along and I started this touring team. We're going to go play colleges, preseason games, okay? And so we're going to play about 8 to 10 colleges during October, November, December. George Floyd came and joined the team because he wanted to continue playing at a high level, and we had something organized. Not only did he join the team, but he got other guys from around to come and be on the team. Guys that went to Yates, guys that went to Austin, other guys from 3rd Ward and 5th Ward. And we went out and played college. Okay, now what happened to that? Some guys end up getting college scholarships from that. And that was directly linked to George's recruitment. So now if you're this police officer, and before you put your knee on this man's neck, would you stop to consider the number and scholarship dollars that this man is responsible for steering kids down this path?
Right, exactly.
Can you count for the number of people that he's kept from getting arrested selling drugs in impoverished neighborhoods because he pushed them towards an athletic track so they can improve their lives? But you're not thinking like that. You just see a big black guy that you think can beat you up if you make him mad.
Yeah, exactly. And
you got to do so much to make him mad because he's just so cool.
Yeah.
But you don't know that.
I want to, just to be clear, so anybody that's listening to this that may have their head in the wrong place, I want you to imagine, if you're listening to this right now, that there are 3 people on top of a man who has been saying he can't breathe and is calling out for his mom who's been dead for years, okay? And you have your knee on this person's neck, okay? And then he stops moving, and then he stops responding, and you keep your knee on his neck for another 2.5 minutes, okay? So let's just do this real quick. Imagine you have your knee on somebody's neck that is completely non-responsive, and you, starting now, that was 10 seconds. Imagine you do that for 2.5 minutes, okay? So anybody that's listening to this that doesn't think this was murder, this was murder, and it was purposeful murder. This is not, and it doesn't matter, frankly, what he was accused of. He was accused of forging a $20 check or some stupid thing like that. But this was murder. And, Cyril, it bothers me that there's this rush for some people when stuff like this happens to try to blame the victim, try to figure out something wrong with the victim.
Right.
The victim must have done something wrong.
Right.
Drag his character through the mud, or her character. It's the same thing with Sandra Bland. I mean,
right.
Sandra Bland's dead because some racist cop arrested her for suspicion of having a joint. I mean,
Right.
are you kidding me? I mean, we got to get our priorities straight here.